It's been revealed that the NHS regulator's culture of fear that leaves rogue nurses free to abuse patients. I'm going to read this exclusive from the Independent, guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here. We're an exclusive from the Independent with the headline that has been revealed that NHS regulators' cult of fear that leaves rogue nurses free to abuse patients. The exclusive add-ons that leaked internal documents lay bare concerns of toxic issues within Watchdog by mean whistleblower warnings are ignored and the public are put in danger. In disturbing echoes of Lucy Letby's case, writes the health correspondent Rebecca Thomas. This is not a very good headline to read, so I'm already concerned about this. Nurses and midwives are accused of sexual, physical and racial abuse are being allowed to keep working on wards because whistleblowers are being ignored, a new damning report has found. Staff are too scared to report their concerns to the nursing regulator because of a culture of fear within the watchdog document seen by the Independent revealed. One whistleblower speaking to the publication drew parallels of the Lucy Letby case, accusing the Nursery and Midwifery Council, the NMC, of being defensive and trying to protect their own reputations. They claim the deep-seated toxic conduct within the NMC is leading to skewed and failed investigations. The Independent review that launched after the Independent highlighted concerns earlier this year by speaking to staff who complained that the NNC was leaving nurses accused of sexual assault and domestic violence free to work unchecked. The internal document kept secret by the NMC lays bare a litany of concerns, including the case of a male nurse in Coventry who admits sharing indecent images of children, but was only struck off 3 years after the complaint was first raised. A male nurse in Kent who groped a patient and was allowed to practice with no restrictions for 8 months after their case was reported. A male nurse who used a parent's genitals as a puppet but escaped with only a caution. And a female nurse convicted of racial abusing members of the public who faced no sanctions, a decision later overturned. Speaking to the Independent, the whistleblower said their concerns flagged to the NMC were met with the same defensive management culture, a prioritisation of its own reputation over its legal obligations, and poor treatment of whistleblowers that has recently been criticised as the reason for Lucy Letby not being prevented from practicing earlier. They added that I and other colleagues have repeatedly escalated our concerns internally, but the NMC has failed to demonstrate the reflection of insights it expects of the nurses, midwives and nursing associations of our register. Approached over the bombshell finding, Andrea Sutcliffe, head of the NMC, said it had launched an independent investigation into the allegations. And culture of fear. The document details interviews with 41 staff members as well as multiple interviews between April 2021 and March 2022. The conclusions seen by the Independent found a culture of fear within the NMC in which staff are scared of making mistakes and afraid to be honest when errors are made. Staff under pressure over huge backlogs of investigations and given unachievable targets. One worker said they were scared of raising their head above the parrot as they did not think concerns would be acted on. Another said we're drowning, we're struggling, we're telling people and we can't cope with the pressure. Another said serious concerns raised over racism within the NMC, including the alleged bullying of a black woman. Staff claiming sexism and misogyny, including pregnant women and being treated unfairly. I'm going to put a link in the description, but there was a short video about female surgeons being sexually harassed, shall we say, while operating under a surgeon while in surgery. Operating on surgery. And I'll put links to that short video in the description, which is obviously tied to this story. The report said a lot of people wouldn't feel confident to challenge inappropriate behaviour, adding the phrase a lot of people used was that there was a fear of consequences. Rape tape. The whistleblower had raised concerns with the Professional Standards Association and Charity Commission, both of which oversee the NMC. They claimed that one in 2017 incidents that a male investigator was dismissed after telling female colleagues that he had a rape tape Another was dismissed in 2018, referring to someone as a... well, I'm not going to say it. The NMC said it had a zero tolerance to all forms of discrimination and had always acted when concerns are raised. Current figures show the NMC has a backlog of 5,339 conduct cases. In its late report into the NMC, the PSA said it was still taking too long to investigate. More than 700 have been looked at for 3 years. In an email to the NMC, PSA and Charity Commission, the whistleblower said that the desperation to clear the backlog had led to dangerous decisions being made to close cases at all costs. This includes failure to fully investigate cases, failing to address the discriminatory application of policies, rewarding speedy but poor quality work, lacking transparency with members of the public raising concerns, and systematically handle harassment of staff who challenge practices in any way they wrote. I fear a failure to address these deep-seated cultural issues at the NMC will leave professionals who are not fit to practice on our register. In January 2023, senior managers were alerted to a case by the whistleblower in which a nurse in Coventry had applied for voluntary removal from the nursery register after admitting they shared indecent images of children in 2019 seen by the independent shows. The male nurse allegedly said in a police officer interview it was for a sexual purpose, but he was not charged. In 2020, the NMC's investigation team decided there was no case to answer, and he was eventually struck off 3 years later, having been able to work without restrictions. In 2018, a male nurse was accused of sexual misconduct with a patient. The case was referred to the NMC, and an interim order placed in his ability to practice. However, this was removed between February and August 2018 and was free to practice before being struck off 8 months later. In another case this year, a white nurse was not sanctioned after she was convicted of racially aggravating intentional harassment. Under current guidelines, the NMC recommends that a nurse accused of sexual assault should not be investigated by the watchdog unless the complaint has been reported to the police. It is currently reviewing all its guidance on sexual misconduct, domestic violence, domestic abuse and safeguarding cases, but no charges have been implemented. Ms. Sutcliffe, Chief Executive of the NMC, it's essential that we have a culture at the NMC where people feel able to speak up. I'm grateful that these concerns have been raised with us and I take them extremely seriously. Our priority is always the safety of people who use health and care services, ensuring that is central to our fitness to practice work. Ms. Sutcliffe said that they had taken steps to improve but acknowledged they have much more to do. The regulator said it would investigate concerns raised after the independence reporting and transparency within the findings. I want to reaffirm my personal commitment to developing a safe and inclusive working environment where all our colleagues are supposed to thrive so that we can effectively deliver on our primary purpose to protect the public, he said. Again, we have made progress over the years, but I'm absolutely focused on continuing to improve. The PSA and Charity Commission, which regulate the NMC, are yet to launch any investigation. The Charity Commission told the Independent it was assessing the allegations, and the PCA it was monitoring the NMC's own probe. This is extremely damning, to say the least, guys. This is incredibly scary. Obviously, I want to stress that we don't know enough. But if these, I really just think it's an absolutely horrible story if this turns out all to be true. And it seems the Independent has been on this for quite a while as well. And it seems like it's a perfectly okay culture when it's not. Hopefully the police will take all these matters and individuals' cases very seriously, and hopefully if they are to be true, appropriate action will be taken. It's wrong that things are covered up in any never mind just here, but any workplace. And this is a very bad image for the National Healthcare Service if this turns out all to be true as well. It does not paint them in a very particular light, that is for sure. And if people are calling for help and they're not getting answered, it's even more damning, to say the least, guys. So, what do you guys think of this exclusive from the Independent? How concerned are you about the well-being of patients, of the well-being of the workers, and why was this allowed to happen? Who is ultimately responsible for these failings? Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think about this story. It's extremely worrying, that is for sure. Like, share and subscribe as always. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.